Bluestein. The Great Wide Open is, as the program title suggests, anything and everything. I play a lot of music from many genres and include a world segment. Join me here each and every Tuesday, 10:30 to 1 p.m. for the Great Wide Open on KPFT.
We've all felt left out. And for people who move to this country, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Jeff Balfour. I have a show called The Other Side of Life. It's a show basically dedicated to the study of near-death experiences. I hope to bring NDE stories, a little NDE research, people's calls and questions, deathbed visions, and visitations from the other side. Join me on Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock on KPFT 90.1 FM Houston for a show, The Other Side of Life.
Want to do radio? KPFT is looking for programmers and board ops. If this sounds like you, contact me, Marlo Blue, at pdkpft@gmail.com or leave a message at 713-526-4000 extension 1003. Hey, KPFT is looking for you.
Hi, I'm Mel.
And I'm Ro.
We're from Shame on Me.
And you're listening to KPFT Houston.
Are we supposed to be hearing our theme song right now? Or is there dead air? Should we fill it? I'm not sure what's going on.
Sorry about the song. This is Vegan World Radio on KPFT Houston.
We're not hearing. There it goes.
It's a little scary on Earth tonight. In all the darkness, it's kind of hard to see the light. We need more people with compassionate and fewer commandos. Stand up for what's right on Vegan World Radio. Vegan World Radio. Vegan World Radio. It's time to live. It's time to grow. Vegan World Radio. Vegan World Radio. No more animal rodeos. Standing up for animals is a different kind of fight. When corporations keep the truth far from our sight, but the ones who...
So sorry about that, y'all.
No
Something
problem.
with our internet was weird for this one server that we have, but not with the Zoom. It's so weird. So sorry about that. We've got about a minute and a half on the theme song.
Perfect.
Thank y'all.
An animal-free fandango. Climate chaos, a dogging planetary plight. Temperatures reaching annual record heights. If the world ends tomorrow, I'll see you in the afterglow. The postmortem's live on Vegan World Radio. Vegan World Radio. Vegan World Radio. It's time to live. It's time to grow. Vegan World Radio. Vegan World Radio. The One Health message in stereo. Rocket leaves right now. You've got a ticket for this flight. Did you think we'd let you leave alone? The stars are burning bright. Strap in tight, ready for takeoff. Ignition, here we go. It's Monday night and time for your Vegan World Radio. Vegan World Radio. Vegan World Radio. It's time to live. It's time to grow. Vegan World Radio. Vegan World Radio. Let love be your dynamo.
On air.
Dr. Crystal Heath. Yeah, I think it's important because the ice raids, of course, have gotten a lot of news, but we haven't really connected the ice raids to H5N1, and there is a key connection here. Uh, I, so and I think the regular media isn't talking about this, but we are here on Vegan World Radio, and of course, a couple weeks ago, Hickman's egg farm had an outbreak. They lost 6 million of their birds, 75% of their population. Their most recent outbreak was 342,000 pullets on June 5th. And John Corsland, Dr. John Corsland, a veterinarian who used to work for the USDA and now has a wonderful blog on Substack that I highly recommend you all read. Look for him on Substack, HogVet51. 25 years he spent at a swine production facility and also worked for the USDA. He knows his stuff. Yeah. And a pullet is like a teenager chicken. Before they become egg layers, they're pullets. So there you go. I mean, these were the replacements. So the ones who were going to replace the ones who've been exterminated have been killed. And this is a huge problem. There's actually been discussions of how these facilities order these pullets and they're backed up, years at this point because of bird flu. So it's going to be a long time before we've recovered. Of course, egg prices have recovered, but that's not the real issue, is it? No. Yes, but that's not the big issue. John Corsland's blog is just released bombshell after bombshell. There's just so much here. So the USDA's National Animal Lab released the genetic data on the 10 recent bird flu outbreaks in poultry, and most were caused by the strain B3.13, but two were that D11 strain. That's the strain that's been linked to human infections. And these D11 samples are rumored to match the virus found in dairy cows in Arizona. And if you look on a map of the where Hickman's egg farms are, you will see a couple of dairies nearby. And we have long postulated that it's the dairy facilities that are spreading the influenza to the egg facilities. And these egg facilities with their big vents on the side suck in the air, the dust from these dairies and become infected that way. Yeah, and here's another bombshell that he released is that the dairy herds, the respiratory viral shed peaks early before you might even detect it. And milk virus may peak later. So a lot of it ends up aerosolized. And of course, we know the urine. And so there's this high risk for infection spread even before we detected it. And of course, we don't kill cows because they're H5N1 positive, but they're still spreading it into the virus. No, cows are very valuable. It's much better to keep them alive if you can. But yeah, here's the thing. So the Arizona Department of Agriculture has refused to release any details about testing nearby dairies or what steps are being taken to protect workers. And the Arizona Department of Health hasn't said anything about monitoring people for symptoms like eye infections or respiratory illness, even though this strain has jumped to humans before. So this outbreak has been going on for almost a month in Arizona. And one infected dairy was confirmed back in May 7th, but we've heard nothing. So are farm workers being checked? Or are we just being left in the dark? And how much are these ICE raids affecting this disease surveillance? Are workers just too scared to be tested, to get on anybody's radar? And I've heard last week going to Fairlife Farms and hearing from Dr. McCloskey himself that his colleagues, the owner of Fairlife, or Fair Oaks Farms, which also he is on the board of directors or was of Fairlife. Yeah. So yeah, his colleagues in other dairies have said that the ice raids have affected their dairies, and now they don't have workers to milk their cows because we know 50% of dairy workers are undocumented, according to some reports. Mhm. Yeah. But it's mutating and we don't know how it's mutating and we don't know how it's spreading. And so we have the national milk testing strategy, right, where we're testing bulk milk tanks. But are we getting any details about that? And no. And John Corsland points that out too. Poultry outbreaks show that this B311 remains out there, but we don't know where and how much. We just aren't testing. And so it's just very concerning that the way that it's going on too. He also points out that the track record seems to show that dairy spillover infections may be resistant to control through to traditional HPAI biosecurity protocols, the ones that Secretary Rollins implemented as like the cure to this, as is increased biosecurity. That's what we all hear, right? Yes. And again, like he just points out, H5N1 seems to easily gain entry to large poultry populations from larger dairy populations. And we presume how that's through their ventilation systems. And the current, yeah, absolutely. Well, you know how I feel about being scared. I don't think it's a productive emotion, but you do you. Um, I think we should be angry, and I think we should demand testing, and we should not let what's been going on this week get us distracted from H5N1. H5N1's out of the news, but it's in the news on Vegan World Radio. We will talk about it when nobody else does. And we should be talking to our legislators and our politicians and demanding that there be some transparency here. When John Corsland, who is the industry guy, is demanding more transparency, we should all be demanding more transparency. Yeah. I mean, we were all out there motivated for the No Kings protests. 5 million were out there protesting on the streets, but we have to stay organized. We have to make this a sustained issue, right? What were you doing for No Kings Day? Yes, I was out there photographing horses who are part of dispersing these protests before it was cool on Tuesday. And I got arrested on Tuesday too, while taking pictures of some horses, police horses. Well, after I got arrested because I was there. Mm, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, of course. Like I think there's lots of people motivated to fight this. There's already been people suing the police department, press groups, the journalists are angry. And so yeah, I think that this is good. But yeah. hmm You're not a weirdo if you get arrested. Yeah. hmm That's some street cred. You're in jail. They wouldn't send you to jail for a year. Yeah. This is why fear is not a good emotion. Anger is, though. Anger is a powerful emotion. Hmm. Really? Wow. Mm. Wow. You've been in Mexican jail. What's Mexican jail like? Well, luckily we had really good jail support, and I was driven home by a woman who was there doing jail support, and I plan to do the same thing and offer my services for jail support in the future, pay it back. Yeah. Mhm. 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 I mean, this is Oh, well, they're herbivores and, they're in theory chased by other animals. I don't think that's a helpful analogy. So I'm a horse person, grew up riding horses as a dressage rider. And dressage is the sport where that has come out of training horses for the military, which has been something that we've done for thousands of years. And I trained under one of the riders of the Spanish riding school, which is the famous riding school in Vienna, Austria, that teaches the Spanish style of riding. And this is where the horses do these, piaffe, passage, capriolet, levade. They're trained to like jump up in the air and kick out as if they would in if they're fighting a war. Yeah. So yeah, we train them to be brave and to fight and so horses in the wild, they do fight each other. They can be very courageous animals, and we've weaponized that. But ironically, like I find it so funny how the Spanish riding school, which is thought to be this elite form of riding, most compassionate form of riding, came out of Xenophon, who was this Greek soldier, mercenary, pupil of Socrates, who authored this foundational treatise on horse training, which is on horsemanship. But you read it, and it's all about the compassionate treatment of horses and how to never approach a horse with anger, to always, because nothing forced is beautiful. Like that's the foundational thought of Xenophon. And this is what the Spanish riding school adopted, the same philosophy of like mutual respect, nonviolence, artistry. Nothing beautiful is forced. Yet, at the same, yes, we're literally using, and this is kind of the same way we use language and stories and narratives to make things okay. This, you see farmers do the same thing of like how they romanticize raising animals for slaughter and all of this with all of this beautiful language, but ultimately what you're doing. Oh, interesting. Hmm. Hmm. At journalists, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, y- yeah, a horse doesn't necessarily want to run over people. Horses developed empathy for others just like humans did. It's so funny how we have to go through all of this training and normalization to suppress our innate nature, which is to empathize with others. And we're training that out of police. We're training that out of the police horses. Uh, it's it's not in our human nature to do this to other people. It's not in the horse's nature to do this to other people. Um, mm, with the dog to bite them. Like, I don't know. Is that what the, yeah. Oof. Oh, really? Is that what they, yeah, wow. Isn't that interesting? And yet we have dogs in labs and people who are trying to rescue the dogs in the labs who are being, who get punished for rescuing the dogs from the labs. Dogs are regularly killed in labs. Wow, that's wild. That's a quite a contradiction there. And horses. And yet vet students are forced to participate in laboratories where horses are bought and killed so that they can practice. And the students who resist that often, suffer bullying, retaliation, backlash, failing grades. Horses are one of the most commonly used animals that are killed for veterinary student training. Uh, yeah. And literally, the American Association of Equine Practitioners, the horse vets, want to preserve the pipeline and preserve horse slaughter and preserve. Right now, there's the SAFE Act, which is trying to stop this horse slaughter pipeline, to stop the ability to sell horses across the border to slaughter. And who's against that? The veterinarians. Like, of course, most veterinarians don't agree with the horse slaughter pipeline, but those in positions of power who are in charge of these veterinary organizations that really are just bought and sold by corporate interests, they're the ones protecting this. But meanwhile, you can get the death penalty for killing a police horse. Or wow. Mhm. Wow. Mm. Wow. Well, I got some hopeful news today when I was telling my coworkers how I got arrested earlier this week. One of my coworkers is like, "Oh, my wife was arrested. Was arrested a bunch of times for protests, and every time she sues the police department and she wins, and she gets some money out of it." And I'm like, "Well, that's hopeful." I've talked to some lawyers, and they weren't that optimistic, but I thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah. Well, uh, yeah, I mean, I probably am not going to do it repeatedly and get but I didn't purposefully get arrested. I was just trying to walk home and got caught up in a kettle. And all of us were arrested, and we all just wanted to leave. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And of course, it's not the horses targeting people of color, it's the people riding the horses. Yeah. Yeah. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Well, I trust horses more than I trust humans, but I still don't want them fighting, being used, weaponized by police. I think that's probably a bad idea. Um, yeah, yeah. Rabies. Yeah, 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 for sure. Cows get rabies too. Then one of the most common domestic causes of rabies is rabies from cows. You don't think of it, but yeah, there you go. Um, mhm, yeah. Oh. If you are just joining the program, you are listening to Vegan World Radio here on Houston's own KPFT 90.1 FM and streaming on kpft.org online. So, I mean, you can't trust people. You can't trust anybody in chaotic situations. And they're big. So there you go. Yeah. It's institutional betrayal. You're like literally betraying the ones we are supposed to should be protecting. It's human nature to protect and save others, and yet we're exploiting them for our own, to inflict power on others. It's no, we can't do without them. No, nope, we don't. Yeah, horses are much more cool than bicycles. Hmm, interesting. I don't know. I, I have no idea. Can't tell you. I don't remember any mention of that. But yes, I have read Xenophon. Long time ago, though. Mhm. Which is the absolute epitome of bad horsemanship. We talk about the Spanish riding school, Xenophon, examples of good horsemanship, where we're all about the harmonious, beautiful, artistic bond, human animal bond that is subtle cues and the horses dancing. And here you have rodeo, which is the embodiment of poor horsemanship. It's violence, it's bucking, it's in classical horsemanship and dressage, when we start a horse under saddle, we never want the horse to buck or resist in any way. It's all just kindness and gentleness. And the horses, develop this wonderful relationship with human beings. But in rodeo, it's all about spurring and bucking straps and everything. It's outrageous that it's become such a beloved thing in America when it embodies bad horsemanship. Oh yeah. I used to do barrel racing. Like, yeah. It's really fun, and it's a little bit rough. Yeah. It's a little bit too fast, too tight. And dressage, we're all about preserving the horse's body and making the horse stronger and not doing tight turns or anything that would harm the horse's body. But yeah, barrel racing is something I used to do as a kid. As a teenager, I'd go to horse shows and events and stuff like that, gymkhanas. Yeah. Cosplay. Yeah. Is that what men do? Aren't men supposed to protect others, or are they supposed to? Yeah. Here, and I bet I have less testosterone than you, and I'm not for that. Is that? Maybe I do have more testosterone than you. Is that what you're saying? Mhm. Mm. Wow, interesting. I'm gonna go get my tea tested now. I know, I've been thinking about it, yeah. I will. Yeah, we can compare. Yeah. How would you feel if my testosterone was higher than yours? Yeah. I I don't think it doesn't squeeze their gonads if that's what you're thinking, but it just is irritating on the flank. And they say that they buck. They buck. They're trained to buck. They're bred to buck. They don't need the flank strap. But it is interesting that as soon as the cowboy takes off the flank strap, they stop bucking. So that tells me something. You're adding something uncomfortable to make the animal perform something. And that is no, well, there's bucking bulls, but do, I don't know. I don't know if horses are always, no, because my sister's horse is a mare and used to be a bucking horse. And so, yeah, yeah, I don't, it has nothing to do with gonads. It's just irritating if you had something across your loins. You you would try to kick it off. Yeah. Well, if you're like a quadruped and it's right around in front of your hind legs and you are built to do that sort of thing, that's what you would do. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Well, I don't know much about the horses, but I did study equine medicine. We didn't get a whole bunch of bucking bronc injuries, but I did go to a veterinary continuing education class on bovine sports medicine, bovine being cow sports medicine. And it was all about this veterinarian who treated bucking bulls. And she said she gave so many examples of bucking bulls that they break their back and they don't know. Oftentimes they die, and then they have to do like a full necropsy to get the insurance money for the bulls. And yeah, sure, these bulls are treated well and they're cherished, but they're not meant to be athletes like this. Like this species is not meant to do this. And because, yeah, they're valuable. That's what they always say. I've spoken at a lot of city council meetings about rodeo and trying to ban certain practices. And the pro rodeo people always come up and say, like, these are very valuable, so we would treat them as best you can. A bucking bull that's not meant to be an athlete. And yeah. And not always. And these things aren't always reported too. It's like they say, oh, a veterinarian oversees the event, but they only, at a lot of times they don't even have to notify anybody of what happens. But a lot of times these animals, you don't see any injuries until days after. A lot of these bulls will go home and then suddenly not be able to get up, not be able to walk, become paralyzed days later after the event from their injuries. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's interesting. Like, of course, that this is all televised, but most of the catastrophic parts of rodeo aren't really televised. And was trying to go to one rodeo event and I wanted to bring my big camera. And they specifically said, like, when you buy the ticket, no professional photography equipment allowed. So, mhm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember actually this year, the NFR, I was watching a video. A bunch of the cowboys actually were mad at another cowboy because he left his horse tied up to the trailer for days, just standing on cement. I think the horse ran out of water at some point, food. And so they were like, trying to report the guy, but they were all making videos about this horse that was just out there standing on cement in the parking lot tied to the trailer. Well, they have their own standards, but I know the horse people are like this close to becoming animal rights activists, especially the horse girls. They see like their animals are herbivores. They are taught this idea that you should be a good steward over the animals and kindness and everything. And then they start to recognize the hypocrisy. So rodeo, it's a little bit more distant because not as close as the dressage people are to and the dressage people definitely criticize the people who are getting the gold medals a lot more when they do sort of break the code of conduct. But rodeo, of course, it's just bad horsemanship and bad animal stewardship through and through. And it, Hmm. Mm. Yeah. Uh, Wow. That's hilarious. Exactly. Let's do that. That's the way the manly man show each other up and do whatever you got to do. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Absolutely. Given that I attended a bovine sports medicine thing at, I think it was an avian. No, actually it was VMX, but yeah, no, it seems very much. I went to one talk at the AVMA convention about rodeo. So yeah, it's very much co-opted. Anytime there's corporations profiting, there you go. It's and rodeo is just cosplays to sell truck tires, burgers, beer, tobacco, that's what it is. It's just a giant advertising event. As yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Keep talking about it and keep going out there and doing something. But we are reaching the end of the hour. But if you may have missed any of the show, you can always hear it again on the archives at kpft.org. Please tune in again for Vegan World Radio next Monday night, 7 to 8 p.m. And thank you, Blue, our sound engineer. And do keep listening for more progressive programming here on KPFT 90.1 FM Pacifica Radio in Houston, Texas.
It's time to live. It's time to grow. Vegan
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
It's great.
rodeos. Standing up.
Oh, okay. Wow. This is like the after show for those. That's amazing. Are there any comments on the YouTube or anything? Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool, I guess. Yeah, you could also have like another screen with your notes, but okay. Well, okay, but you have your notes on a different computer that you're looking at, or a different. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Maybe you could like print out your notes. Do you have a printer? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I do. I have two printers actually. Yeah. Wow. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, next time you're here, you can take one of my printers, honestly. Like, yeah, no, I think we really stretched that out long enough. I feel like we could have had more content. There's a lot of fluff in there that well, but here, I, I, I don't know. Oh, okay. And yet, I feel like we could have even piled more in there. We could have made, but you know me, I'm all about pithy, like let's get as much information out there as possible, whereas you like to like reiterate. Um, and that's yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Had a feeling that was going to be the issue. Yeah. Yeah. I knew. Hmm. They can hear me. Hmm. But not me. Interesting. But see, they lie. They lie in the YouTube. They never give accurate information about sound. So interesting. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Because maybe your mic isn't going to the StreamYard. Mm. Thank you, everybody who I guess can hear me. And we'll see you next Monday. Bye.
So it looks like I have to be It looks like I have to be going into... All right, I have to be on stage. I think that's what's... Oh, you heard me on the radio. All right, so I guess what has to happen is I have to be live. Crystal has to be on the other one, and then we're going live that way. That's the only thing, so that you can hear both of us. It's the only thing that makes sense. Dang it, man. Oh, that sucks that you couldn't hear me. What a bummer. Oh, well. I'm so glad that you were able to. It's live radio, you know. We're trying to figure this shit out. It's hard to get Zoom. I hate Zoom, you know. But everyone in radio uses Zoom. And I wish they were using something that would more easily share to StreamYard. But hey, we'll try next time. Now you can hear me. Yeah, because I'm live. See, I'm not behind the scenes. I had to do something like this. So you see me twice talking. That's the only thing that makes sense. Well, bummer. I really appreciate you guys being here. Oh, thank you, Jackie Boyle. Sky, we can't hear you. Crap, I couldn't see it. I think we figured it out, though, Jackie, how we're going to get it to work next time. Well, thank you for sticking around. I know that was probably painful, but hopefully you were able to see it. You were able to get something out of it. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you tomorrow for the show. We'll see you live tomorrow for Morning Sky at Skyjack Morgan on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter. Not Twitter, but ever since they started charging me to stream to Twitter, I haven't been doing it. So I say thank you to everybody who is here. And if you are a member, if you're a channel member, make sure you get your song request in on the post. Look at the community post and get your song request in. Thank you so much, Jackie Boyle. Even though you couldn't hear, you still came through for me. I appreciate you. Bye, everybody. Illegitimately non-carborundum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. I appreciate you. Bye.